Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kiriam Live. I'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate each and every fan kwa kila wakati that you take your time to check out the video for whatever minute that you take or you sacrifice of your time. I appreciate because my joy is to be able to educate, give insight, and pass on the wisdom that I believe the Almighty Father God has given to me due to experience. So, thank you very much. And as usual, I would like to just take this time to say everything we do, everything I dedicate on this podcast is strictly about what is on our mind, you know? The things that we don't address in our society, in our household, in our workplace, here in my podcast, tunaropoka. Ni kuropoka, ropoka yote itoke. Yeah? And we give to you through the insight, through the wisdom, we give you inspiration, we give you motivation, and the best of all, maybe we do give you life. So thank you very much. And I just want you to know we appreciate you being here in our podcast. Today's podcast is very, very simple. We will begin by honoring all the fathers in the house. If you are a father, you are there, whether you are a youth, whether you are old, whether you are super, 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 super old, a father is a father. And today, where life has gotten me, is leading me today to speak to you, my fellow father. Before I begin, I salute you in the name of God for all that you do, because you are a man just like every one of us. And I guarantee you, every effort, every sweat, every pain that you go through, the Lord God shall give back unto you, and it shall multiply before you and many. May you believe it, because I do want you to say amen. Shout out to all the fathers in the house. When I was a young boy, I was raised in a children's home. In this children's home, we were mixed up between children who had relatives, children who had fathers, but maybe they were not able to take care of them, or parents. And we had children that did not have any of the above. They are completely orphan. And that type of a child was me, a complete orphan. And I remember growing up that every Sunday when I go to church, there was a time when we had to wait for the transport bus to come and take us so that we can go back to the children's home. This was my time, to think. This was my time outside the home, apart from the usual routine. But I would look at the cars, I would look at the children, and I would look at the parents as they come out of the house and buy something for their children, talk to them, you know, and I would watch everything that they were doing. And this thing showed me parenthood, showed me fatherhood, showed me motherhood, and showed me family, which I did not have. And every time I would go back home, I would cry about it. Why? Because this was the only time life reminded me I'm an orphan. Why am I saying life reminded me I'm an orphan? Karibu uje. It is simply because I have never put it in my life like a badge or a tattoo that means orphan. I've never done that. I like to live life free. I like to live life not figuring or thinking about things that do not count to me. And I believe me being an orphan was not my fault. As an infant, I had no fault for it. So there's nothing I can do to go back and try and make things difficult for myself just because I'm an orphan. And with that said, I live my life to the fullest. I try my level best to enjoy life because that is the best we can do. Enjoy life. I know you have situations, I know you have problems, I know you have disasters, but that is life. That's what makes life beautiful. And that brings balance to the world. So during that time, I used to cry a lot. But growing up now, I find myself in the position of me not having a father has led me to becoming, you know, a superhero, as my daughter would say. My daughter would say I'm a superhero. It has motivated me to become a father. Because all my life I have remembered that I have always wished. I never said it much. It was never so much in the mind that on the preconscious, it was mostly in the unconscious. But I've always wished to walk with my father. I've always wondered if my father was here, would I be the same as I am now? If my father was here, the wife that I have, would that be my wife? If my father was here, what type of a man would I be? The mistakes I've made, the achievements I've made. And the most part of it was, if my father was here, would he be someone that I can lean on, nimlalie kidogo nimwambie leo kimeniramba, leo kimeniramba. Tell him about the good days, tell him about the bad days. Tell him about the great days. And that has motivated me so much in my life. Because I see my children as a blessing and I see them as a gift. And I appreciate being a father because becoming a father automatically leads to maturity. There is an inch or a big inch or a wide space of maturity. Why? Because there are some things you are going to be exposed to as a father so that you are able to push this family towards success. Wacha nikuulize swali wewe uko hapa. Have you ever asked yourself, when I was young, I ate everything I wanted, I had everything I wanted, almost. Yet everyone says we are poor. Have you ever asked yourself, how did that come to be? Have you ever asked yourself, my father, my mother could not be the most educated. In fact, baba, yeye hata hawezi nifundisha homework. And the mother cannot even dare to try and teach me 1, 2, 3 because they failed in school. But somehow, these are the same people that have taken you through college, primary school, fed you, clothed you, gave you shelter. Same people. The same people that have survived all that time. Have you ever asked yourself, how? How do they do that? How do you do that? Well, I think that answer, you cannot know the answer until you are a parent wewe mwenyewe. And the degrees of parenthood can matter between uko na mtoto moja, uko na watoto 18, mpaka mzee alitoroka, ama you have a drug addict in the house, ama uko na mchawi kwa nyumba for a daughter, a son, a wife. Parenting will automatically expose you to situations which will lead to maturity. Now for me, imeniweka position yenye I'm thinking about life in a completely different way. Because that is what a father would do. It gives you ile, yani inakufanya ukae ukiangalianga vitu design nyingine. Hii ni kikombe ndio. Hii ni kikombe. Lakini nikiangalia kikombe as a father, mimi naona biashara. Biashara hii ni ya uji, hii naweza uza uji. naona maybe naweza uza hizi vikombe wholesale. Those are some of the things I'm saying. It makes you think the things you would never think of because you have been exposed to situations. A father goes through so much, they cannot speak anymore. It becomes completely difficult to speak anymore because it makes no sense to speak about it anymore. But the true sense is a father is the head that wears a crown that cannot be worn by another one except for another father. I remember the days when I was going through a lot. When my child was burnt, when he was just born, he was barely 1.5 years, a very little boy. And I remember going through that phase where my child was burnt, and it led me to think about the health of the child rather than the situation at hand. I remember days in my household where I know tomorrow there's no money for the whole day, for breakfast, supper, and lunch. And I know that where I'm going, there's no money that shall come. And fatherhood there teaches me to submit myself to God. So I tell my God, I don't know about tomorrow, watu watakula nini, sijui itakuaje, lakini let your will be done. Because there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can do. I've done everything possible to be done. Let your will be done. And that's where you find the grace of God. That is, fatherhood only brings such things like that. There are days you have achieved so much, and all you want to do is spend it with your family. If I was a young man and someone gave me 50,000 shillings, hapo ni sherehe properly, sherehe. But as a father, I first think of my family. I first think of the needs. I first think of my wife. I first think of, everything that has to do with the family household. So with that said, you become a considerate and responsible person because the numbers are no longer about you. The numbers now are all about your daughter, your son, your concubines, the businessman, mama boga, yani hesabu. So let me ask you right now, would I be safe to say that a parent or a father or a mother is the greatest mathematician ever? Because tell me, how do we deal with all of these things? And the expenses are always high and always low. So today I'm here to talk about fatherhood. And it is the biggest task you can be given. Because in your hands, you have growth. In your hands, you have development. In your hands, you can destroy if you want. And to make those choices, to stick to the path that you have chosen, that takes a lot from a man. Days are hard, days are good, days are best, most are worst. But you still stand as a father. Somebody said being a father is a thankless job. That all you have to do is do your part and pray to God that you've done your best and move on. I never knew how much fatherhood was important until I became one. Because now I see my young boy and I'm like, whenever unanihitaji, mi niko area. Ukinihitaji niko area. I want to be there for him because no one was there for me. And it has built me to be strong in a way that I can pass on that strongness to my son. So that is the value of a father. The father is the man that builds. The father is the man that educates. The father is the man that shall toil the earth to give for his family. And now the worst thing is we are not so much considered in the society. Yani sisi ni mabrukenge yani. Ndio unasikianga men are dogs. Ndio unasikianga the statistics zinasema there are more fathers with their children and their wives in a very small quantity, lakini wale wenye hawana single mothers, kuna very absent fathers. So today if I ask you, do you know of an absent father? Do you know a father that is not there completely? Do you know of a drunk father? Do you know of a father who's not the father you wanted him to be? Well, leo mimi nasema before you judge that man, respect them. Because before things fell down, he is the reason why you are alive. And that is the nature of my podcast, to speak about the things that we do not speak so much. And to acknowledge today that the power of a father, the love of a father, and just having fathers in our society is very important. Because without that, our sons and children will lose direction. Without that, our sons and children will not have support. Religion is also, encouraged mostly by the mothers, but inakuwa imewekwa kwa ground ya kwamba ni lazima hii mtindo mama ameanza iendelee by fathers. But you as a father standing there today, are you okay? Is everything all right? How about the calculations in your head? Ziko sawa ama zinauma nje? How are you doing? Are you okay? I feel like asking you that question because I've passed through a lot as a father for me to know and to know that it is important to ask a father, are you okay? Are you all right? So what makes us not break down? Love, unconditional love, knowing that these people are here with me and I love them in a way, I care for them in a way that is important. Number two is where we see the family growing. I might not have enough today, but I see my family maybe in a 3-bedroom house. The daughter has her own room, son her own room, me and mom have our own room. In case we have those activities of parents, we have privacy. We have a sitting room where we can sit down and talk, kila mtu wapangaize. We have a lunch kitchen, whereby, mavitu zinatambarizwa pale kidogo kidogo, pancake kidogo kidogo, samaki kuku. Yani, the good life. Once we see that and vision that, that becomes our support for us to continue the next day. So there is a lot to know. But maybe today I want to say that sometimes we have been through much. We have done too much. I think it's time pia sisi saa ingine we appreciate ourselves. We have to appreciate ourselves. How do we appreciate ourselves? Unaweza jiambia pia hivyo tu in words. Enyewe mimi ni mnoma, mimi ni mnoma, hii imeweza ya leo, hii imeweza. Appreciate yourself. Jipeleke hapo jipanji, ukae hapo chini, ukule kuku na chumvi mzima. Mzima na usiogopi mtu. You have earned it. Buy yourself something nice, a suit, a ring, shoes, whatever makes you feel like you've appreciated yourself. It is important because usipoji appreciate utakuwa tu manze unapitia tu vitu zingine, lakini wewe unaendelea tu kuona mimi ni dogomondi, mimi ni burukenge yani. Appreciate yourself. Number two, maybe this is something that I've wished for myself, but sijakuwa able to achieve, is to just go for a vacation, you know. Yani kasirika tu siku moja uambie mama, nipatie tu siku mbili. Siku mbili ama siku tatu. Na usinipigie simu. Usinipigie simu. Ndakuachia kama nimekusort kila kitu. Ungie mji wa Mombasa, fanye mambo yako, upumzike, ukule huko Managu Karai, ukule huko, swim huko na maocean. When you come back, you're coming back clear. You deserve that 2 days. You deserve that 1 week. You do. It's very, very important. Then the most important part, I believe a strong man is a man that is led by God. Yani, tunaishi katika vitendo za Mungu. I am not a church person. I will not lie to you. I don't go to church, but I believe in God. And right now, as we're speaking, my son, my daughter, and my wife are in church. They are Saturday people. Nye mnajua tu SDA. Mimi si SDA, I'm a protester. So in that said, I still believe that having God in the presence of your family as a father is important. Because God will be the one to hold you when no one can see you. God will be the one to direct you when you have lost it all. So the power of God in our lives as fathers is important. It is a responsibility to yourself that mambo ikiwa mzito, enda to submit yourself niaje God. Mi wacha nikuambie. Mi nimejaribu kila kitu hapa iwezekani. Lakini mi naomba tu kama ni your will. Ni sawa tu mtoto tu asifukuzwe shule kesho. Ni sawa ule client tu alipe ile deni amebakisha. Ni sawa ile loan nilikuwa nimeapply banki kubali ingiane tuanze project. Ni sawa mtoto wangu tu apone, akuwe tu sawa. You know? Being vulnerable to God. Wewe kivyako, talk to him. Because I have learned the power of talking to God as a father has been important for me. Na imenisaidia. Niongee na yeye tu, yeye akae akijua hivi ndio vitu ziko. Akae akijua leo sina chumvi, lakini tuna expect kukula. So I do appreciate all fathers. But the long time ago type of father was kukaa ngumu. You're not allowed to speak out, the warrior. Those people who have rules like hata wafai kuingia kitchen, you know, hafai kushika vyombo, hafai kuosha nguo, those types of things. The strict father with cultural and traditions. I am not blaming any one of those. But I feel like those type of fathers did not, take into account mental health. Because mental health is the number one killer of fathers in our society. And if you check the ratio, men are dying at a very high rate. I've spoken about it in a podcast before, but here I'm putting it in a context because I've experienced days when I'm stressed, yet maybe your partner is relaxed. You're going through hell, yet your partner is having it easy. But you committed to the road, you can't say anything. Umeelewa? So hizo ndio mambo that here at Kiriam we like to talk about. The things that it is on your mind, you never speak about it. It's a platform to just listen to what I have to say. It might be brief, it might be too much, it might be enough, it might be worth it. I don't know what is your reaction. But I feel the responsibility is just to give the information out, however small, however big. Bora ukae ukijua. And I've been struggling, what do I talk about this week? And I was like, why don't you talk about Kenye unapitia sahi? Because it's tough. It's tough not having a job. It's tough being so focused. It's tough being, being ready, but you don't have the opportunity. It's tough. But that is the nature of a man. That is the nature of a father. And that is something I'm learning how to do. Another thing I'm also learning as a father, and also I believe it's an insight, that the people we call our wives, the people we call our partner, are very important in our lives. And sijui inakuagaje, the moment wewe na your wife begin working together, supporting each other together, yani ma blessings zinaanzanga tu chini ya maji, chini ya maji, chini ya maji, zinaanza kukam kidesign kipeke yake. Compared to the time when, yani ukiingia tu kwa nyumba tu unasikia tu hapa sasa ni kama ODM na UDA. Yani hapa ni kama Al-Shabaab na Amerika. Yani hapa ni kama Osama na Amerika. Yani ni vita tu. So to the ladies in the house, listening to the women in the house, to the mothers, to the wives in the house, that man you sit with, talk to, it is important for you to be in his life. Because you are the pillar of support. You are the home. When he's done with the wars outside, it is you anakuja kwako. When you will give him nourishment, encouragement, support, pleasure, and children. And that's all he needs from you. Respect, acknowledgement, appreciation, support, children, pleasure. Hizo vitu zote. After you've given him that, that is all he needs for him to go tomorrow and battle a few more. So my brother, my sister, my father, this is where in the podcast when I tell you, just take the time to think about the information I am giving to you. Does it make sense to you? Or does it not make sense to you? Whichever way you feel, I'm sorry to say this, I have done my job. I have acknowledged it and I have given you insight. But I want you to continue to think. The generation of fathers is important. But would you rather for us to continue dying? Or would you rather for us to have even more generations of greater men, greater fathers, advocating for fathers? Because our society without fathers is dead. For lack of a better word, if we do not have fathers, we will raise sissies. A sissy is someone that has no nature of independence. Is someone that hapa siwezi ongea hapa ni YouTube. But long story short, we are important. And today I acknowledge you, and today I speak insight to you. But also remember that mental health is important as we embark to fatherhood. The greatest challenge of a man is when they have to choose between the children and the relationship. There are days I found myself asking myself, is this worth it? Ni lazima nikae na huyu mtu hapa. And for many men, that is where now families break up. That is now where the blessings fly away. And if you're not careful during that time where you're asking yourself, hii ndoa niko hapa, ni lazima nikuwe hapa. Should I be with this person? Ni lazima, is it a must? Be very careful about that situation in your life because it can make and break your family. If you don't, make sure that you're making the right choice. For me, I've made the choice over and over again. I have chosen my children first. And I will deal with the rest later like a war. Because I cannot be an orphan, then raise children in an orphanly manner. I have to be present for them because I know how it feels when a father is not present to me. So that helps me make the decision that for better, for worse. And that is now when you begin to understand those two words, for better, for worse. Because marriage sio kuita watu sherehe. Because kumbuka kuna wenye wameoa na kuna wenye tulisema come we stay na kuna watu wa COVID. And utapata huyo mtu wa COVID hata hawajawahi fanya wedding nini wamekaa miaka na mikaka, hata watoto wamemaliza shule. So it does not matter which setting you are. As long as you have a partner by your side, both of you need to know the roles zenye mnacheza. Yani, you need to complement each other. But once that falls off, decisions have to be made. Hard decisions. And be careful during those hard decisions because as a father, influence. Wacha nikwambie, you have to be able to have a filter, in a filter influence. There are influences that can destroy your family. Mtu akwambie sasa wewe, bibi yako anashindanga kivaa hivyo, vitu zimemshika aje. Si umwambie tu a change. Sasa wewe nikuulize, utashindanga unaongeleshwa aje na bibi yako? You know? Wachana na huyo mtu. Endea, ndio kuna msichana tulikutana naye kwa bar, kuja uchukue huyu, you know? Some useless advice. You have to be able to filter those things out because if you don't, you will break your family. And let me tell you, a criminal can run away from a crime, but a father will never run away from the pains that he has caused himself. Kama ni wewe uliifanya ikuwe hivyo, hiyo nao uhepi. Utakwama nayo kama tatu. Utakunywa ukwe soba, ukunywa ukwe soba, bado iko. And that is what we bring here at Kiriam Live, advocating for fathers. That I salute you in the name of God. You are important. My brother, my sister, if you like this content, kindly like, move, subscribe, move again, press the notification bell, and then comment. That is the only support I ask from you, so that next time as I come back here, I'm coming back for more. To give you as much as I can, because the God that we serve, He brought us on this earth so that we may multiply. And multiply is not only in food. We can multiply by educating someone, inspiring someone, motivating someone, or giving people insight. Just like the way your grandfather, anakupatiaga mastori za jaba. Unajua zile enzi za kina Wajakoya, tulikuwa tunapanda ni miti kule, ni mlima ni avocado. The stories of grandfather zenye zinabamba. For me, I can see them only on social media. But I wish ningekuwa na msee kama huyo. Because it's a great moment. It's a defining moment. Ni kama Independence Day to Kenya, to have those stories, to know history, to spend time with the old man. But now I have a gift. I get to be the old man to tell the son. So this thing is not a white man thing. This thing is not a black man thing. This thing is a universal thing. One love, one world. And let it be done that all men shall grow up to be great, and all their children shall be blessed from now until the end. And with that, I appreciate you for your time, for being here, for listening, for liking, for subscribing. I appreciate you so much. Every Saturday I release a new video, so check out the video. Remember, these are only humble beginnings, ndio tumeanza. But with your support, tutafika hapo. We can bring guests, worthy guests, to continue the topic, to continue the mission of speaking about what is on your mind, matters of the society. And with that, if you wish to support, the number is there. Tuma kitu, appreciation, and let the will of God be done. For me, you just know, I will always see you there, and I will always try my best to bring another video, another insight, so that we enjoy and we grow together, tujuane, tuchapiane. And with that said, to all fathers, I salute you. And to all audience, to God be the glory. I will see you next time.